You are leaving thousands on the table every time a prospect ghosts you. And the worst part, it is completely preventable. Ghosting isn't rejection, it's a breakdown in your positioning, your energy, and your follow up. The top 1% of sales leaders and entrepreneurs don't chase, they attract. And today, I'm going to show you how to become the type of person who never gets ghosted again. Welcome to Superhuman Selling. I am so excited to have this conversation with you today about ghosting. And we've all been there. I have been there plenty of times. So if that is happening to you right now in your business, in your sales, I just want to let you know you are not alone. And today we're going to talk about how to shift the energy around it. It's something that still occasionally happens to me, but it's pretty rare these days. So I'll talk about what I've shifted and how to really elevate your energy and your positioning so that if it's something that's happening on a consistent basis right now, it stops or it dramatically reduces. Before we dive in, I will acknowledge too that we are doing some virtual recordings right now. So if you have been following along with the new show, Superhuman Selling, we have been recording at this incredible, beautiful in-person recording studio thanks to my amazing production company, Sweetfish Media. And as I am now 8.5 months pregnant and we are going into maternity leave and mama has a watermelon on her belly and can't fly anywhere, we're going to be recording virtually for a little bit, but we'll be back to in-person this summer. And in the meantime, we're going to be bringing you incredible episodes and content from my home office, which is how we're rolling right now. So let's talk about ghosting and what it is and what it means. And like I said, I've had many, many experiences of this in my own business, in my life. And I even remember, gosh, maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago, it was like a prospect who I had put a lot of energy and attention into just kind of did the slow fade on me. And that happens. What I've learned is that, especially looking back in that instance, I was probably more in chasing energy than I needed to be. Like I wasn't really in my power with that particular opportunity because at the time it was an opportunity that felt bigger to me. So I think that this happens. It can happen a lot of different reasons and a lot of different ways. But when we are attached to an outcome, which often means maybe you're pitching a deal that's bigger than you normally pitch, or you've got a prospect coming in and you feel like you need the money, which by the way, we never want to feel that way, even if the bank account or the sales report might tell you otherwise. But I talk about that a lot in my content and episodes to help you get out of that need energy because we're never going to attract what we want. When we're coming from a place of need, that will tend to perpetuate prospects who maybe string you on. And really, as I look back at this particular opportunity too, there was just a lot of misalignment. Like this person was not an easy buyer. They were not an easy yes. I was available to keep meeting with them without them making a decision. And I look back on it now, and there's a lot of really beautiful lessons that came from it. Again, I think one of the things that I've really learned to embrace in selling and in entrepreneurship and in leading my business is to go where you're wanted, not where you're needed. And that shift in and of itself is really, really big and will make a really big difference for you. And I was actually chatting with some of my consultants yesterday about this on a training call, that so much of what we're taught, and this, especially what I was taught coming up in corporate selling, was that everyone had to become my client. I had to chase. I felt like I was constantly in chasing mode. And even the roles that I was in sales, it was always like the hunter type of role, which there's so much about that language that I don't love. But I was out of my power. And so when I started shifting my mindset and first heard a mentor talking about going where you're wanted, not where you're needed, and started moving into that energy in my sales, I was able to be so much more in my power and shift out of the mindset that everyone has to become your customer or else you're doing something wrong. And instead, to a place where it's like, I know what I'm selling is amazing. You, as a listener, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a sales professional, assuming that what you are selling is something you're really aligned with and you believe in, you know that what you're selling is amazing. And so when we're in that space, we don't feel like we need to chase. We don't feel like everyone has to become our customer. And so we'll talk more about that today. But I think something else that I've really learned along the way in my journey is the power of being great at follow up without being attached to someone having to say yes. And this is really, really big. So, your energy when you are following up is key and is critical. Now, I will follow up with someone until I get a yes or a no. So I am not afraid to follow up. I am not afraid to go deep. But the energy of non attachment is key. So learning to follow up from a place of non attachment, and we'll talk about that more in this episode too. One of the other things that I think I have learned over the course of just doing this and being in business for a long time and being in corporate sales and then an entrepreneur is the power of relationship building to avoid the ghosting cycle and just really giving people permission to like tell you no at any point along the way where they don't feel uncomfortable. Because I think a lot of times that's why someone will ghost or why they won't follow up, because they don't want to hurt our feelings. They don't feel like they can say no. And so they kind of just fade away. When in reality, if you give plenty of opportunities for someone to say no along the way, then you're going to have that stronger relationship and you're not going to waste your time. They're not going to waste their time as well. So let's be real. We've all been ghosted. Like I've been saying in this episode, if you've been in business for any amount of time, you've had this experience. And so I want to hear from you. Drop me a comment or send me a DM if you've ever had what you thought was the perfect sales conversation and then someone just disappeared. So let's talk a little bit about why prospects disappear and what can happen. So sometimes the offer just isn't aligned for your prospect, and that's okay because we always want to be selling from a place of really looking for what is the best fit for this person. Is this truly in their best interest? If not, with an abundance mindset, then we know that we can tell someone to go somewhere else or purchase a different solution and that our perfect clients are coming. So that's really, really key. But the biggest thing that I think can trigger this, it's more about your energy and your confidence and how you come into your sales conversations. So for most people or most prospects, if they're ghosting you, there's a couple of different things that can be going on. One is they're overwhelmed, right? They've got so many things going on. They're in mental chaos. They don't feel clear. So they're just freezing. They're like, I'm not going to make any decision because they feel safer not making any choice. It can also be fear, right? They're afraid of making the wrong move. So they don't make any. So we've got to be willing to have those, what can sometimes feel like uncomfortable or tough conversations with our prospects to help them get past the fear. And I'll just call stuff out with people if I feel it. You've said that these are all the reasons why this is a good move for you. And yet I'm noticing and sensing like some hesitation or some fear. Are you available for us to explore that more? And if you say it in that way, are you available for us to talk about that? Are you available for us to explore that more? Generally, someone will say yes. If they don't, then you've got their answer. But it gives you permission to be able to go deep. And I remember having a mentor one time talk about, objection handling and working with people on their fears or their doubts or their hesitations, and especially how a lot of entrepreneurs in particular will avoid the money conversation. They're like nervous to ask for the money. They're nervous to overcome money objections. And the energy that we want to be in, and this was her recommendation, I thought this was so good, is you kind of want to think about it like if you were going to the doctor's office and they were squeamish about asking you to take off your clothes and put on a robe, you would be like, what in the world? Don't touch me. Don't look at me. This is weird, right? They're very chill about it. Like they're literally asking you to take off your clothes, but they're very chill about it. It's not a big deal. We have to also embody that energy when we're helping people get past money objections or money fears, where it's like, it's not a big deal. And I think about that in my own business and in my own sales conversations. I still do a fair amount of selling in my own company. I've got a team who also sells along with me. But if I'm having a conversation with someone about coaching or the money around coaching, my energy is like, this is not a big deal. I do this all day long. I'm here to support you if the money piece is a sticking point and you'd like to find a way. I was literally texting with someone this morning who is wanting to enroll in one of our programs, and she was feeling stuck on the financial piece and saying she couldn't do it. And my response back was just like, hey, all good, totally understand. What I have found is that there's always a way when something's really a must for us. So let me know how important this is for you. And if this is something that you're really committed to doing, I'm more than happy to help you find the how. There's a lot of different solutions and options that you may not have thought of right now. So just let me know. And so it's kind of that energy, like a place of no pressure. I'm not attached to whether she says yes to that or not, but at least it's opened the door to be able to go deeper. So there's that, right? People are in fear. They don't make any move because they feel paralyzed. There's also, lack of urgency. Like maybe it's just not a priority right now. And I think that's another thing where we have to be willing to ask those questions and find out how important change really is to someone right now. And there's absolutely like psychology and questions that you can use to help. A lot of traditional sales training is like elevate the pain or get them in a lot of pain about not making a change. And I believe in tapping into what is real and true for people, not in like falsely fear mongering or manufacturing pain that's not actually there. So I think that's a fine line, but you can go deeper with someone and help them uncover like what happens if nothing changes here. And then from there, really see, is this something they actually care about right now or is it not? Because sometimes timing is a thing. And that's where, again, we want to be great at our follow up. We want to generally set an appointment for next steps with the person if they're not ready to move forward right now. But it's all in that energy of non attachment, right? And then the final thing I would say here is just coming back to energy, like really noticing in your body, do you feel attached? Do you feel like you are chasing this prospect, right? Because if you're chasing, they're running away. I want you to even think about the energy of that. Like you're leaning in, you're chasing. What does somebody else do? They lean back. You're like, whoa, give me some space, right? So we want to be in the energy of leaning back, being available to serve, being available to work with someone, knowing that our products and services are amazing and that if someone's ready to rise up to that level and invest in themselves, that we're here to help them. But if you feel like you're pursuing someone, if you feel like you're attached, then they're going to be pulling back. And I was talking with some of my consultants about this the other day. Like, I know when I'm in my head about something because I'll voice note someone and I'll feel like I've got to redo it 5 times because I'm like over analyzing it and feeling like it's not good enough or I didn't say the right thing. When you're in your power, when you are tapped into abundance, when you are doing the inner work that we talk about on this podcast and in my programs where we really dive deep with our clients, then you know that your clients are not source. You know that no one customer or opportunity is going to mean that you will or will not hit your goals. You know that you're going to hit your goals no matter what. And you're not attached to the how or the who of where it comes from. So These are really important energetic shifts that we can make. And from there, if someone doesn't show up or if someone doesn't follow through, my energy around it now is like, okay, next, right? Like it's really not a big deal. I know that they will come to me when they're ready. Of course, I will continue to follow up from the place of non attachment, but I don't take it as rejection. I don't make it mean anything about me or my business. Like, I know if I'm doing the inner work to vibrationally align with the level of money that I want to receive every month, which we've talked about on past episodes about wealth consciousness, in which we do a lot of work with our clients on. I know that if I'm doing that work to align with whatever amount of money it is that I'm looking to receive and call in my business, I know that if I'm clear and I'm not attached, then if it's not this person, it's going to be someone else. And that's okay. So let's talk a little bit more about energy shifts here for you that are going to make a big difference in your experience of being ghosted and not being ghosted. All right, so this segment is going to be really fun. I've got Lauren, my producer, here, and we are doing a ghost hunt together. So we're going to talk about different types of ghosting, what it means, what to do with it. So, Lauren, do you want to kick us off with the
I
ghost types?
would love to. All right. Ghost number one, Elyse, this is what I call the classic Casper. Okay, so they were super enthusiastic in the beginning. They were all about this product, this service, and then poof, they just disappeared. Maybe they got cold feet. Maybe they just didn't fully trust themselves to say yes to this. What would you do in that case?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we have all had this happen, right? We have. I've had it happen. You've had it happen if you've been in business for any amount of time. Here's what I would say is that at this point, you're a little bit reactive because it's already
Mm,
happened. Moving forward, there's probably an opportunity to do some more of what we're talking about in this episode, which is being willing to give people the chance to say no to you, being willing to go deeper with them too in
yeah.
questioning and conversation. So you can use this as good learning for next time. What I would say here is that you've got to be willing to let them go. Like, that really is how I think about it. I'm not going to chase someone. I
Mm-hmm.
would probably send them a quick note. And I always love like a voice note if I can, just so that
Yeah.
I can communicate tone a little bit better. But I'd probably send a quick note and just like, hey, so it was you, like, hey, Lord, I loved connecting last week. It was so good to talk about this, this, and this with your goals. Hey, I know we were set to reconnect this week and you weren't able to make it. Let me know if this is still something that you want us to connect on or pursue.
Mm.
Would love to chat further. I'd be more than happy to reschedule our meeting. So just something like that, where again, it's like, I'm not attached to you saying yes, but I'm giving you the opportunity to reach back out. And if they don't, then that's okay too, right? I'm
Mm.
probably going to put a follow up on my calendar if it's someone I actually want to work with. Um, to reach back out to them. But I think this is also where having a good picture of like, who is your ideal client, and really only being available to work with those types of people. My ideal client isn't going to ghost. They're going to at least let me know what's going on. And if someone's not willing to do that, then they're probably not an ideal client for me. So those are a few things that I would say there.
Love that. Okay, Ghost 2. We all know this one. This is the energy vampire. They keep rescheduling, they're asking for information, but they do not commit.
Yeah. Yes, we so know this one. And this one, like, to me, this is really not an ideal client. It's
Mm,
really not. And so I pay attention to what gives me energy and who gives me energy, and then what and who drains my energy.
yes.
So if someone is draining your energy, and we've all had them, again, clients, prospects, they are not an ideal client for you, truly. And so, what I have found is as you elevate your self concept, as you believe more in the value of what you're bringing into the world, as you elevate your self worth, you're just not available for this type of stuff anymore. So, you're not going to get it as much. I used to get a ton of this. I really don't
Mm,
get it anymore. And I'm willing to call it out sooner. I'm willing to ask, like, is this really a priority for you? Is this a must for you? And then if they say yes, I'll ask why. Like, I want them to tell me. So just remember, like, we are evaluating clients and prospects as much as they're evaluating us. And I think when you
Yes.
shift into your power in that way and you're just not available to be strung along, you're not going to get strung along. You're not going to get energy vampires anymore. So it's a really good opportunity for self awareness.
Yeah, that one's amazing. I think of that one like dating as well. It's
Oh my
like when you
gosh.
go on a first date and you're evaluating the person on the other side of the table, they're evaluating you equally to make sure it's a good partnership. And it's the same thing here.
It is totally the same. I was thinking about that this morning, thinking about this episode, and I was like, this is exactly like dating. I haven't been in the dating
Yeah.
world for a long time, but there's so many. And gosh, I would have had a different experience way back when if I knew this
Yeah.
versus what I did. So it applies everywhere, not just business, but personal life as well, big time.
Yes, yes. Okay, but we'll keep it sales focused. I just like to throw in a little dating there.
Oh, everyone loves that. It's way more fun.
Okay, our last and final ghost. This is ghost number 3, the slow fade. So at first they were really engaged, but then their responses start to slow down. So now you're getting those messages that are like, "I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this," but it's like every 2 weeks. It's very
Yeah.
sporadic. What do you do here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one is just like the ability to read people's cues. Like,
Mm,
obviously, it's probably not that much of a priority for them anymore, and that's okay. So I used to feel like I had to push or force someone to say yes to me and to like sign by a certain date and close by a certain date because that's a lot of what's taught in traditional sales training. If that's happening now, like it's okay. I can kind of feel and pick up on this isn't a priority for someone right now. I will generally send a ball in your court. I call it the ball in your court message.
mm.
And so it just sounds something like, um, hey Lauren, it was so good. I've loved getting to know you and I've loved connecting with you over the past month. Love what you shared about your vision for this, and this in your life. And if it's something you're still wanting to pursue, I'm here and I'm more than happy to jump back on a call and talk about how to do that and how I can help you. At this point, since we've both got a lot going on, I'm just going to leave the ball in your court to reach out and to let me know if that's something you want to do. If not, no worries. You can reach back out anytime when you're ready. But if so, let me know. I'm here. I'd love to connect. Either way, hope you're doing amazing. Wish you the best.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to connecting whenever you're ready. And when you send that, what I find is that about half the time, someone who's just been MIA actually responds and they let you know what's really going on. So it's a really good tool to filter people out
Mm.
and to get a, like, I'm fine getting a no from someone, to get a no from someone where it's just not a good fit because then you can realign your energy where it matters. And sometimes people come back, they're like, oh no, I really am interested. And it's kind of like, again, you leaned back, so then they leaned in.
Mm.
So that is what I would do there.
Amazing.
So, one of the key frameworks that we teach and talk about within our community and within our programs, like the 10K Club and the 50K Club, is this concept of abundance selling versus scarcity selling. What does that mean? How do you know which one you're in? Let's talk about it. So, scarcity selling is what I used to do, and it's probably what most people do as well. So, scarcity selling is you're selling, like you're pitching your offers, you're putting up a sales page, you're reaching out to your prospects if you're in corporate, and your energy that you're in when you're doing it is one of self doubt, one of second guessing yourself, one of not enough. You are looking at your sales or your bank account and you're viewing it through the lens of not enough. And from that place, we will only continue to perpetuate and get results that feel like scarcity. And when I used to be in that mindset, which I was for many years, I remember I would get on sales calls with prospects and I would be like, I would just be nervous. I would feel, I would like sweat. I would feel really attached to whether someone said yes to me or not. I would feel less than them when I was talking to them. I did get ghosted more then as well. And it's because my mindset and my energy was scarcity and lack and not enough. So, abundance selling is all about shifting into the energy of abundance in your sales and your business. Now, what I will say is a lot of people will wait to feel abundant until that big deal comes in, that big client comes in, that big opportunity comes in, until they'll say, I can't feel abundant until my bank account is at a certain level or my sales report is at a certain level. And that is being at effect of your outside circumstances. And because we're in that energy of waiting and I can't feel abundant until, you're going to keep getting that experience of waiting for your abundance to come. So abundance is really, it's a feeling state, it's a paradigm, it's a mindset of more than enough, of freedom, and it's all about doing the inner work around that first. So when I had my first quantum leap experience and went from 10K months to 100K months in 6 weeks, the 100K months came after I did the inner work to finally get out of scarcity energy. It wasn't, I didn't shift into feeling abundant after more money came. I was so fed up with feeling lack and not enoughness and fear that I was like, there's something I'm missing. There's something that's got to shift within me. And so I did the work to understand abundance and prosperity on a deep, like spiritual level, and to attune to those frequencies in my body to rewire my mindset around that, even though nothing on the outside had changed. And it was from that place of actually shifting a lot of the limiting beliefs I'd had about money and a lot of the feelings and conditioning that I had had around scarcity and lack and not enoughness, and doing the work to actually feel whole again for the first time and feel abundant and notice all of the abundance that was already there and available to me in my life that I just hadn't really been noticing. Because again, my filter and my paradigm up until that time was lack and scarcity and not enough. But it was from that place of feeling abundant before anything had changed outside of me that then way more money came, because your outer world is always just going to mirror to you how you're thinking, feeling, operating about yourself. So we have to make that shift first. And that's part of why in our programs and in the framework that we teach called the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth, money and abundance and wealth consciousness is one of the key factors to quantum leaping your income, to quantum leaping your sales. It's actually the second quadrant of quantum sales growth. And we've got a free training on that you can download at elisearcher.com/4 quadrants if you want to go deeper into that as well. So wealth consciousness, abundance mindset is everything. I think that a few other key points here to really shift your energy here and to have a different experience are, if any part of you is feeling like you have to hard close, like you have to force a deal or an opportunity, just stop. Like, no one likes being hard closed. Think about, do you like being hard closed? Now, I will sit with someone and I will be willing to ask them the questions that maybe an old version of me would have been uncomfortable asking, like, how much of a must is this for you? And where are you like selling yourself short? Where are you playing small? Like, I will go deep with someone. I remember one of my private clients from a few years ago, she ended up, my private coaching is 6 figures plus, and we were having a couple of different conversations about it, and she still talks about it to this day. Like, she was nervous to make that investment in herself, and it ended up being like incredibly life changing. But she talked about like my willingness to sit with her through the uncomfortable questions and to ask her questions that made her uncomfortable helped her move to a place of decision. But it's not a hard close. A hard close is like you got to do this now. It's false scarcity. It's never any of that. It's again, you want to be in your power. You want to be in your energy. You want to be leaning back, but simultaneously be willing to go deep with someone. And then another belief that you can hold that is so powerful is my ideal clients will do whatever it takes to rise up to my level. So being in that energy is going to empower you to raise your rates if you're an entrepreneur, or to sell higher level programs if you're in corporate, or products or services. We work with a lot of clients on that who are like, why have I been selling something in a lower level range? It's because it's their comfort zone and they really want to elevate and sell like enterprise level if they're in corporate, or they want to sell bigger packages if they're entrepreneurs. And so being in that energy and that belief allows you to go for more, to sell at a higher level, to expect to receive more as well, and to know that your ideal clients will do whatever it takes to rise up. I know in my own life, if I really want something, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And look, I mean, not everyone is like that. Not everyone will do that, but your ideal clients will, right? So there's a lot here, right? And I think that we can go deeper into a lot of these, but hopefully you're getting the vibe and the gist of this, that the real power is in being willing to follow up from a non-attached place, being willing to go deep with someone, and yet simultaneously being in that lean back, detached energy. And something else that you can think about, one of the things that we say and that we teach in the program, is your results will never supersede your identity. And so the way that I would think about this is forget everything that's already happening outside of you. Forget how your prospects are showing up right now or not showing up. Forget whatever is in the bank account. Forget whatever your sales results have been up until this point. If you want more, if you want to ascend, if you want to receive more, you have to start asking, if I already had all the clients, how would I feel? If I already had all the money, how would I feel? How would I show up on this call? I was coaching a client on this not too long ago who was brand new in her company and was feeling like really attached to whether someone bought from her or not. And we did some things to shift her energy and to get her in the space of, you've already, and she was in corporate, so it was like, you've already won President's Club, you've already achieved your goals for this year. And then from that place, she started selling. From that place, she brought a very different energy to her sales calls. She was like, oh, okay, if that was the case for me, I would be able to be really consultative on my sales calls. I would lean back. I would be non-attached. And she made those shifts even as a brand new rep in her company. And again, from that place, everything shifted. She started selling and she's doing great now. If you're ready to quantum leap your sales, your business, and your life, I've got something for you. Inside our signature program, the 10K Club, you are going to join a dynamic community of sales leaders and entrepreneurs around the world who are all committed to unapologetically having more, achieving quantum leaps in their business, their money, and their life. We also teach you the exact framework that I use to 10x my income in 6 weeks so that you can have your own explosive growth experience. So to learn more and to apply, head to elisearcher.com/10K club. You can learn more about the program right there. You can also request a call with my team, and we cannot wait to connect with you and to hear from you. What I would say here is that ghosting, being ghosted, it's not rejection unless you take it that way. It's all about your energy, your positioning, and shifting out of chasing into attraction. So that's where, again, with the work that we do with our clients and with what we teach in our programs, 95 to 98% of your results are not based on saying the right script or doing the right thing. It's based on your belief systems. It's based on your identity. Are you someone who is available to be rejected by others? Are you someone who is available to take things really personally? Are you someone who is available to feel less than? Are you someone who thinks and operates from a place of scarcity? If so, that's your work to shift that. And you will start to see a really different experience with your sales and with your results. So I hope this helps. I hope this serves you. You are more than welcome to go to my website. If you go to the homepage of my website, we do have a really powerful training download on 5 sales scripts to increase your closing rate by 50% or more. And that will also help you where I go deeper into a lot of this. So I highly encourage you to go grab that at ElyseArcher.com. And I want you to remember to trust yourself on your path to success. Your desires are green lights, leading you and everyone around you to a brighter future.